Hey guys, Marstingen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so part 2 of the anniversary is going to be starting very soon, just over 24 hours from the time this video goes up. The stuff I think potentially is going to release at midnight in the UK, so actually I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning at the moment due to the daylight savings, so technically it will be the 19th for me. Although it'll be late in the evening of the 18th or the afternoon if you are in the US. So the part 2 stuff is going to come out. I'm going to be live streaming on the morning of the 19th. So it will be a few hours after some of the stuff drops in game. But, you know, like I said, it drops at 1 o'clock in the morning for me. So I won't be up that late considering when I have to get up for work, I have to get up at like 5 AM. But anyway, part 2 is coming up very soon. I know a lot of people have been starting to feel the burn with how, you know, the part 1 stuff, we've basically all done it all already. Especially if you finished summoning, like most of the stuff could be beaten within the first day or two. So I know people are very much looking forward to more content releasing so that you're actually going to have stuff to do in the game once again. So I did a video obviously already covering the stuff that's going to be coming out. I did a video breaking down how many stones we are going to get for free in part 2. So if you haven't seen that, do go check that out. But we're going to go through what you guys can do to prepare to be ready for part 2, because obviously at the moment, as we already said, it's not a huge amount to do in the game right now. So other than link leveling or anything else you guys are doing to pass the time, there are some things you can do to be perfectly ready so that when the stuff drops and part 2 begins, you will be ready to go. So the first thing that's going to release is the new stages for all the free-to-play story events. So we have the Goku and Chi-Chi one. We've got 3 stages already, and the other 3 stages will get added. This gives us stage 5, which drops the medals that you need to awaken the unit into the actual Goku and Chi-Chi. So obviously you want to have your unit SA10, all paths open. I did do a video about hidden potential for the anniversary units as well. So that's another thing you can check out if you haven't finished off their hidden potential yet. Now, we won't be getting their EZA until part 3, but as it even says here on the wiki page, remember to train a second copy to SA5 ready for their EZA. So if you haven't done that already, if you just have your SA10 one ready to go to awaken, you want to farm up another SA5 copy, get the medals farmed up and awaken that one as well, so you have that one sat ready to go to feed in once the EZA comes out. So that is the exact same thing for the Vegeta event. Farm another copy up to SA5, then when the stages come out, you can awaken your main one, farm up the medals to awaken the second one as well, and then you'll have them sat ready to go when the EZA comes out in part 3. And then the next one is, of course, what is going to become the free-to-play LR. We currently can awaken the Gohan into Gohan and Goten, so you should have your first main one of these at level SA10 with all paths open, fully ready to go. And then the new stages get added, we'll be able to farm these medals to awaken the unit into an LR, so that they awaken into the Goten, Gohan, and Trunks. So you should, at this point already, unless you haven't done it, and again, that's part of what this video is for, right, so you can get this stuff ready, you need to have 3 copies of this unit. So you want to have your main one with all their paths open and the, you know, hidden potential abilities filled out at SA10. You want to have a second one at SA10, but then you also want to have a third one at SA5. So then you're going to be able to awaken all 3 of those units into LRs. You can feed your spare SA10 one into the main one. So then your main one is fully ready to go, free to play SA20 without having to use any Kais or anything. And then you have the spare SA5 copy for when the LR gets their EZA in part 3 and allows you to get them up to SA25 without having to use any Kais. And it's, you know, we all know how annoying it is when you have like a spare copy of a unit. I've talked about this with summonable units before, where you have a spare copy of the unit at SA5, but you've forgotten to get their medals to awaken them. So you do their EZA, and then you realise rather than feeding in the copy and going off and being able to play with your new EZA unit straight away, you now have to go off and farm the medals to awaken the unit to feed in to get them to SA25. So you want to make sure you have all of this stuff done, ready before. So then as soon as those final stages for all 3 of these free-to-play units come out and they get their Easy A's, you're going to have the other units ready to just feed straight in and get them to max SA. So that is something that you can obviously do right now to prepare ready for when these awakenings drop with the start of part 2. So then of course we have 2 Extreme Z battles. I will be doing team building guides for these, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail. Obviously the landscape for global has changed quite a bit since the anniversary on JP. We have a lot of units that weren't available on JP when these Easy A's come out. So these Easy A's are going to be even easier. I guess Shadow Dragon Saga didn't actually get any buffs, but Pure Saiyans, oh yes, we have a lot of extra units. So all you can really do to prepare for these Easy A's, if you haven't done so already, there's no way to farm the units, so I guess this is just a reminder for people like me who, as I said earlier, will often forget these things. If you have spare copies of Gogeta or Omega or the 2 gods with SA level ready to feed in, make sure you do not forget to go ahead and farm their medals from the Dokkan Fest event, so you can then feed them in as soon as you've done the Easy A. So I have spare SA5 copies for 3 of the 4. I never ended up pulling, I think I may have pulled 1 extra copy of Omega since the time I rainbowed him. He's barely ever on banners, so I don't have a spare SA5 copy of him. Obviously the Easy A's give you enough Kais that when it comes to getting them up to SA15, it doesn't matter, right? You're going to get enough Kais from both of the Easy A's that you don't have to have a second copy to feed in. But if you do, you're saving them Kais then for a different unit who maybe doesn't have a farmable super attack, or that you don't have a spare copy for, or something like that. Or, you know, the gods, STR and Tech, the part 2 LRs are STR and Tech. So these could be some extra Kais that you can then use on the LRs because you have those copies to feed in. So if you don't have the spare copies though, obviously they are all summonable units. So there's no way to just get an SA5 second copy if you have one, if you don't have one already. This section is really just to remind people who do have those spare SA5 copies to actually awaken them. So next up we have just a bit of thought about the red zone stages. So movie bosses, we're going to get Cooler and Fusion Android 13, and GT bosses, we're going to get General Rildo and I almost said Mr. Baby. I can't help but think about him now after the red zone. If you know, you know. So General Rildo in AGL and then Tech. So you got to be careful if you're team building here. Obviously, you don't want to bring a lot of AGL units, especially because this guy can lock your units in place, and he lowers defense on super attack. So you absolutely do not want to bring any AGL units, really. Sparingly, you could bring ones that are obviously very good defensively, but if he locks them in slot 1 and super attacks them, you are going to have a bad time. General Baby is the one that is going to give people the most trouble, I think, out of these ones that are releasing. He can stun on super, he can do AoE attacks, and he can do, depending on the RNG, up to 7 of them per turn. So make sure you're not building your teams completely full of units that cannot defend unless they've attacked first, because you don't want to bring like a unit who gets all of their defense on super attack and then this baby AoEs like 3 times before like slot 3 where you've put that unit, because that unit is just going to get absolutely torn to shreds. So the last 2 phases are physical and and there's no STR phase, so you can bring a very physical heavy team. And then movie bosses, Cooler honestly is not that bad. He has a countdown super attack, so I believe it's always in the is it the 3rd slot of the 2nd turn. So you've got to make sure you have a unit that can either tank, counter, or dodge. And then I guess part of that's going to be down to RNG. But physical, Tech, and AGL for the minions, then STR and physical again. So apart from this one AGL minion in stage 1, you don't need to worry too much about bringing a team that's very STR heavy. And when you think about some of the units that Global has, especially like the Goku and Gohan and their team, the Cooler stage shouldn't be too difficult. So I did do a video going into more detail about the bosses in the red zone before the anniversary started. So if you do want more details about the stats of the bosses and all that stuff, then obviously check that video out as well. And then the last part we're going to get coming in this first part of part 2, because I'm not talking about like the LR banner and stuff like that, because that's going to be another week or so till that comes out. But we're getting 2 new missions for the Vegeta event and the Goku event, Super Saiyan 2 and Majin Power, and then GT Heroes and GT Bosses. So this one's going to be interesting for some people. If you pulled the LRs, obviously GT Heroes is going to be pretty easy. GT Bosses is a bit of a weird team, but Omega's Easy A is going to help that out massively. I genuinely think the best strategy for the GT Bosses mission is just to Easy A physical Omega and then use him and just run like a full Shadow Dragons team using his Shadow Dragon Saga leader skill. And then obviously, again, GT Heroes could be pretty easy. And for the Vegeta event, Super Saiyan 2, obviously we have the Int Margin Vegeta on Global that JP did not have during the time of the anniversary, so he's going to be very good. Other MVPs for that stage are going to be like the physical Super Saiyan 2 Goku that transforms into Super Saiyan 3. There's a lot of good units on this team. Even the OGs like AGL, you know, LR Gohan, the Tech LR Gohan, they work well enough in the Vegeta event, so that shouldn't be too difficult. And then Margin Power, obviously we have Kid Buu. Units like Janembu is going to be an absolute MVP in this. I actually am really looking forward to doing this stage. I do really like the Margin Power team. So those are the things that are coming out first of all with part 2 of the anniversary. There is going to be a banner for Gogeta and Omega, but I wouldn't recommend summoning on this. In terms of everything else for part 2, there's going to be more sales. I think these only get updated when the part 2 banner is coming though, which as you can see from the dates on here, it was a week after this first set of new stuff came out. So the part 2 banner is not going to be available. So all you can really do to prepare over the next day or so, farm up your extra copies for the free-to-play units, farm up the medals for your spare Easy A copies if you have them for the summonable units, and then of course start thinking about your teams for not only the Red Zone but for the Vegeta and Goku event missions. So I'm going to be streaming a bunch of this stuff like I said at the beginning, so hopefully I will see you guys there. We are well on our road to the 20k subs goal by the end of the anniversary, so do consider subscribing to the channel if you are new. And yeah, I'm going to look forward to getting a lot of this stuff done on stream. Heroes team, we're going to try and do as many stages of the Red Zone as we can with the Heroes team, so that is going to be fun. So hopefully I will see you guys at one of the live streams. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.